Shadowspear's back up to $40 again, and that's not even the weirdest spike this month. Your binder probably has more cash in it than your checking account right now, and some of it's sitting in cards that you are never going to cast. Hey, I'm Joel, I cover Magic the Gathering and Magic the Gathering accessories. If you want to stay ahead of your most expensive hobby, hit that subscribe button. Today I'm walking you through 12 cards that I think you should at least consider cashing out of, plus what card conduit is going to pay you for several of them so that you can just shortcut, no hassle, straight from binder to buy list to cash in your pocket. Joel R Magic is brought to you by Card Conduit, the easiest way to sell your Magic the Gathering cards. If you've got a stack of singles collecting dust, head to Card Conduit to use their price check and collection estimator tools to see exactly what you could be getting for your cards. Then you can register a shipment and choose from 3 flexible service types to give you the best balance of effort and value. Whether you just want to pack and ship or you want to do a little bit of prep to save on fees, they've got you covered. Once they process your shipment, you'll get a full report and fast payment via direct deposit, PayPal, Zelle, or check. It's painless, quick, and the easiest experience you've ever had selling your Magic cards, I promise. Join the tons of happy customers that have sold their cards quickly and easily to Card Conduit, and make sure to use that code JOEL when you check out and save 10% on your fees. Like I said, Shadowspear is back in the high 30s, low 40s, and it's not had a real set reprint since its Theros Beyond Death printing. The Secret Lair versions are cute, the Morgul Knife is super metal, but the basic rares are carrying the weight. This card is the lifeline for any deck that wants to stabilize from behind. Trample and lifelink on anything, plus the ability to strip hexproof and indestructible with a light switch, means it never feels like win more. It just pulls you back into games you were losing. I can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody crawl back into a game just with Shadowspear. Price now, TCG lows about 34, the market's pushing like 40. Card Conduit is paying around $31 for a fresh Theros copy, and that's a lot of value tied up in one piece of cardboard. If you're not actively playing this, let an inevitable reprint do the work later and lock in the spread of it now. Before you sell, though, ask yourself which deck is actually going to miss this, not necessarily which deck could run it someday. If Shadowspear's the headline act, Basilisk Collar is the undercard that quietly sold out the venue. The Double Masters copies here have climbed from bulk to an all-time high around $6, and even random Commander and Fallout printings are no longer just throw-ins. What makes Basilisk Collar scary is how little setup it needs. 1 mana to cast, 2 to equip, and suddenly every ping, every fight spell, every random damage trigger is a murder spell that also gains you life. Kelsian, Gearson, Valgavoth, Dogmeat, whatever. If the point is damage, the Collar overperforms. TCG low right now on Double Masters era copies is like 360. Card Conduit's paying just under 4. Same story on certain Commander variants. This is that rare time where the too lazy to list it option is actually optimal. If you're sitting on a pile of these from Double Masters boxes that felt like bad hits when you were opening that set, peel down to the number you're actually going to play and ship the rest off, get some money. Bloom Tinder's one of those rares that never looks exciting when you're opening it in a booster pack, but then it taps for 3 mana and ruins all of the math for your opponents. It's fantastic. Eventide Originals right now are pushing 30 with Double Masters 22 copies that you see here flirting with 20 plus, and even the Foundation's special guest frame has climbed from 8 to about 20. The whole trick is that this is a 2-mana rock that often taps like a Gilded Lotus in a 3-color deck. If your commander has a gold frame with a green pip in it, Bloom Tinder is always a fantastic option. It's not flashy, it just fixes and explodes your mana. Card Conduit right now is paying like over $20 on Eventide copies, and the Double Masters 22 copies they'll give you like 17 for, so the spread is tight on this card, especially up into that $20 range where it's pushing right now. Speaking of mana dorks, Birds of Paradise has been reprinted so many times it should have frequent flyer miles. This was in the first set of Magic ever Alpha, all the way to Ravnica Remastered to Final Fantasy, and yet the cheapest copy you can realistically get is still around $8 to $10. It's not the flashiest mana dork anymore, but it remains the cleanest one-mana fixer you can play in Commander. Any green deck that cares about curve, convoke, or just getting its commander down early is happy to see a bird. When the card is this old and still this expensive after constant reprints, that tells you the card is good and the demand is real. Ravnica Remastered copies have hit an all-time high around 13, with the Retro Dominaria Remastered copy sitting at the bottom near 10. That's kind of the bottom of this entire card, but you can see that chart still going up. This isn't a panic sell. This is just a card that churns. If you have 6 or 8 birds because you've been playing forever, cut down to however many green decks you actually keep sleeved and move your extras. These will get reprinted again, I promise. You can always rebuy these. Heliod Sun Crowned is back in someone's going to complain about this at the table territory. The Commander Masters version has climbed to an all-time high around 20, and the original Theros Beyond Death copies are tracking toward 30 again. Heliod's whole deal is anytime lifelink or counters are printed on a new commander, he quietly spikes. Sithis, Aloro, this year's counter decks, and even Kratos and Atreus all gave Heliod a reason to exist. He turns chip life gain into permanent growth in combos with more things than your playgroup is probably comfortable with. Card Conduit's paying around $15 on Theros copies, with retail lows not far above that. The Commander Masters versions have basically doubled from their 10 to 12 post-reprint floor, and we're up into the $18 range at TCG low, with Card Conduit paying $13.50 for them. If you love combo lines, keep your favorite copy, maybe your Dwight copy, and let the rest go while demand is hot for this one. A secret layer or a bonus sheet reprint will always reset this one back toward that $10 mark again. Spark Double's one of those cards where the graph looks a lot like stairs. It gets reprinted, drops to 4 or 5, quietly climbs to 10, and then repeat. Right here we're looking at the Commander Masters version, but the War of the Spark version, the cheapest one that you can currently get, around that $6 low, $7 market, you can see up and down with the reprints. The reason for this is simple. Copying your commander with the legend rule is always going to be broken in some way. Atraxa, Commodore Guff, Miriam, Brutaclad, you name it. It also copies Planeswalkers, which opens up a whole different pile of nonsense. This is the kind of card players don't realize they need until they see it double something disgusting. Right now, Commander Masters copies are around $10. Card Conduit's paying like $7, which is actually kind of around some TCG low listings. The War of the Spark copies buy listing for $6.50. There's your $7 War of the Spark foil, and you've got a $7 Commander Masters version right there. If you open this in Ravnica Remastered or Commander Masters and just toss it into a binder, this is a clean time to turn those rares into a quarter of a precon. If you're not doubling anything on purpose, just let this one go. Cream of the crop spent over a decade as Morningtide bulk text. Now it's a $20 rare that dinosaur players are quietly hoarding. Its only printing is still that original Morningtide version. What this actually does is quietly fix every draw after your big creatures. Every time a large creature enters, you look X deep, where X is its power, pick your next draw, and ship the rest to the bottom. Pantlaza discovering the perfect follow-up dinosaur. Vivictus Asmati lining your top deck before you flip permanents. Cascade style commanders abusing the top of the library. It's sneaky card selection that feels broken to play. TCG low on this sits around 17, 18, market's about 20 up to 24. Card Conduit's paying 12 if you just want zero sorting, zero shipping drama. If you're not actively playing a top of library or big creature deck, trade this to the local dinosaur player or just ship it to a buy list. Lorwyn Eclipsed is an obvious place for this to come back in some frame, and that'll probably run the single printing premium down. Jace's Archivist has not had a real set appearance since Magic 2012, and it's starting to show. Commander 2013, Commander 2015, and a few list appearances have not kept this from slowly climbing to the $7 to $9 range across printings. In practice, this is like a windfall on a stick. Norman Osborn decks recently love it. Nekusar, Locust God treat it like a personal trainer, and any wheels strategy that wants to refill hands while punishing people is happy to recur this over and over. The activated ability plays exactly how degenerates want to play Magic the Gathering. Right now, the M12 copies are TCG low around 6 with market between 7 and 8. Card Conduit's paying about $6.50, so that lines up really nicely with them paying very near to market price. And this one is just pure scarcity, y'all. The effect is strong, but not super unique anymore, and any meaningful reprint will immediately shove this back down into the $3 to $4 range, maybe even lower than that. Extra copies are just free money at this point. Seething Song has gone from a bulk common up to a $7 red ritual, and the Commander 2021 version's quietly leading that charge, around $7.50 average, $5.80 on the low. The original Mirrodin copies sit around 6, and y'all, the foil multiplier on this are wild. 12x in some cases, because there just aren't that many copies of this card. In red spell decks, this is Dark Ritual that decided to be fun. Firelord Azula recently, Atali, Veyron, Vadrik, Vivi, any commander that cares about casting multiple spells in a turn will happily turn 3 mana into 5. It's a classic one more spell than you should be allowed to cast card. It's been in a dual deck, Archenemy, Commander products, and a God of War Secret Lair most recently, but most of those were non-foil precon prints. The supply looks big on paper, but most copies are sitting forgotten in boxes, to be completely honest. Card Conduit's paying around $5.50 on the white border 9th edition copies, $7.50 on certain like dual deck copies there. Dig these out of bulk right now, I would say, and sell your extras, and expect this to show up on a bonus sheet or in another Secret Lair pretty soon. You can see the low price on the God of War Secret Lair versions here for buy listing them. Braid of Fire is a Cold Snap relic that no one really played with a ton, but now we've got Firelord Ozai and Electro and Avatar firebending all over Commander. It's flirting with $40 spikes again. By itself, it looks like a goofy upkeep enchantment. In real decks, it's a do-nothing that quietly builds a mountain of red mana, which used to be cute and now is actually terrifying with instant speed sinks and commanders that bank that mana. Every upkeep becomes a mini storm turn. There's way more ways to utilize this mana that would typically just go away and be useless. Cold Snap copies all over the place, 30s, lows. Card Conduit's paying roughly $22. Secret Lair versions and the new Avatar art of this exist, but the old frame is where the spread is really living there. This is just a textbook hype scarcity spike. If you're not already deep in this red control or firebending builds, just treat this as a short-term cash out. Whenever a card gets a Secret Lair, it has a habit of showing up again soon. Fallen Shinobi has 3 printings, and they're all doing something weird right now. Modern Horizons copies are around 5, the Commander Streets of New Capenna versions hopped up to 10, and the Outlaws of Thunder Junction alternate art, the only version with alternate art, has climbed from bulk to above 5. You can see the chart a little more accurately there without its original price spike. On the battlefield, this is exactly what ninja players want to be doing. You sneak in a zombie ninja, hit somebody, and cast 2 spells off the top of their library for free. It was already disgusting in Yuriko shells. The Turtles announcement just reminded people that ninjutsu is rude. It's still very rude. Heroes in a Half Shell and Leonardo look like they might care about ninjas, mutants, and combat damage, and any sneak mechanic that cares about entering from hand during combat will naturally line up with old ninjutsu cards. This, to me, just feels more like pre-hype than a new baseline. If you loved ninjas before TMNT, keep your copies, enjoy the ride. If you're only holding it because of Turtle buzz, trade these into something that you'll actually play before the full set lands and the prices settle down, or this catches a reprint on a bonus sheet or a Secret Lair. Seize the Spotlight has finally gone from cute red treasure card to red staple that people are kind of thinking about playing in most decks now. Streets of New Capenna Commander copies are around 16 to 17, and the Outlaws version that you're seeing here is not far behind. Functionally, it's a 3-mana sorcery that either steals creatures and untaps them or draws you up to 3 cards and makes up to 3 treasure. Your opponents choose Fame or Fortune, but both options are bad for them. In Don Andres and other treasure shells, it was already good. Now, people are waking up to how strong it is as a catch-up spell in any red deck. Card Conduit's paying around 14 on both main Commander printings, which is basically TCG low without the work. That tells you the demand is real, not theoretical. If you're not committed to this in a specific red list, I would sell into this wave and only rebuy if it drifts back under 5 again. A reprint will definitely kick it under that low. Those are the 12 cards that I would think about selling in November 2025. Some are pure hype, some are pure scarcity, and some are just commander staples that climb back to their old ceilings while we were distracted by Universes Beyond, or another secret layer, or another secret layer, or another secret layer. If you want the easy version of this video, Card Conduit will literally just take a stack of these, sort it, grade it, and ship them for you, and cut you a check for a number very close to what we just talked about. Tell me in the comments which of these you're actually mailing and which of these you're stubbornly keeping in your notebook. Hit subscribe and I'll keep you ahead of the next spike before it hits your wallet instead of your mailbox.